Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6th episode of the tour. And previously, we'd seen animals like the Dalmatian pelican, the ostrich, and the green iguana. Now we'll be moving on to our more extinct animals, with the first extinct animal being the Irish elk. Alright. And over here, you'll see our wonderful Irish elk. They're also known as the megaloceros, which means great horn in Greek. And these guys are also, they're called the Irish elk due to their fossils being found in Irish bogs. But they didn't only live in Ireland, they also lived in other parts of Eurasia to the east of Lake Baikal and China during the last ice age, which was about 10,000 years ago. Not only were they the biggest deer that walked the entire earth at the time, but if you see these antlers, which we have two males at the zoo, the males had the biggest antlers of any deer species alive or extinct today, which span up to 12 feet. But unfortunately, those antlers had issues, which, even though they were helpful for running over male rivals for mates, it made it challenging for them to lift their heads when entering dense forest away from danger. You see, the bigger the antlers a deer has, the harder it is to run. If you have too big of antlers, and a deer's neck is very fragile, it'll often cause them to break their necks. But these guys unfortunately went extinct like all the megafauna who lived in the Ice Age due to climate change and overhunting. But fortunately, the Biopark Zoo has an extinct breeding program that allows us to bring these extinct species, like the thylacine and the giant moa you saw earlier, as well as some other extinct animals we'll showcase to you in the future, like the Smilodon, Dodo, heck even the woolly mammoth, as well as the Quagga, which are all the extinct animals we have in the zoo. Let's go feed them. Oh yeah, and did I forget to mention, these guys are the actual relatives of the modern day fallow deer. So what did these guys like to eat? Well, these guys are herbivores, and they would likely fed on the plants that lived in the plants, and it's like grasses, which during the summer, these guys eat a lot of grasses alongside with the mammoths. Oh yeah, and they also have shaggy fur, which keeps them very warm during the Ice Age. Which, in our zoo, it can get hot at times, so during the summer, we like to give these guys a haircut so they won't overheat. And in the winter, we let them grow back their coats. Let's see their animation. Alright, that's enough of the Irish elk. Let's move on to our next extinct animal. Our next extinct animal is the famous dodo. The dodo bird. So over here we have our cute little dodo bird. Also part of the extinct breeding program, these guys are an extinct relative of the modern day Nicobar Pigeon that lived in the woods on a tiny island called Mauritius, which is off the east coast of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean. Oh, there he is. Just look at them pecking. Isn't he cute? Now these guys, they were evolved from a flock of pigeons a very long time ago that landed on the island. With an availability of abundant food and with no predators to worry about, they evolved to take advantage of their new island ecosystem. As a result, their sterns became insufficient to support flight, and their wings became smaller with lack of use. Oh yeah, and they ate mostly berries and other ground-level vegetation and built nests on the ground, which later proved costly to their success. And unfortunately, when the Europeans first saw them in 1507, they were an easy meal for sailors, so they sent them to their ships to feast on their meat, which to some people did not taste very good. Let me tell you. What? I didn't eat their meat. I'm honest. Besides, it tastes that bad. Okay, enough about that. Let's know more about the pigeon. They also destroyed their forests in which they lived, as well as bringing invasive species. Which, if you don't know what an invasive species is, it's also known as an alien species, because they are species brought on purpose or accidentally by mankind, to do somehow of a purpose. So people, which are the Europeans, brought invasive species like dogs, cats, rats, pigs, and monkeys to destroy their nests while stealing and eating their eggs. As a result of this, the last one died out in 1618, which was before the 1700s arrived around the corner. Ever since to this day, there is a significant model for the extinction of species, and what we can do to save them so they won't be as, should I say, dead as a dodo. I like that joke. Anyways. And it remains one of the most famous extinct animals around, featuring in some famous stories like Alice in Wonderland. Alright, let's go feed them some nuts. Now, in the wild, they would normally eat fruit, but in the zoo, we give them a nice batch of nuts for them to eat. Isn't that so nice? Let's see our animation. Oh yeah, and just like other birds today, these guys swallowed stones to aid their digestion. Alright, enough with the dodos. Our next extinct animal here is the Smilodon, also known as the saber-toothed cat, or the saber-toothed tiger. But, oh, there he is yawning right here in the distance. Kind of missed it, but actually, saber-toothed tigers aren't actually related to tigers at all. Oh? Ah, caught it yawning, didn't I? Priceless moment. Now, anyway, these guys are the most biggest and most powerful saber-toothed cats of all time, and defiantly the most famous prehistoric cat that ever lived. They lived in South America 2.5 million, 100,000 years ago. These guys were originally from North America, but they came to South America 2 million years ago and replaced native hunters like Forest Hackus as top predators. And depending on the species, which in fact there are two, Smilodon gracilis and Smilodon... Oh wait, they're actually three. Smilodon gracilis, Smilodon fatalis, and Smilodon populatar. I think this one might be Smilodon populatar. Oh yeah, these guys, depending on the species, weigh 100 to 500 kilograms. Oh yeah, and their name means knife tooth in Greek because of these of the long saber teeth that these cats have. They didn't poke. It wasn't likely that they poked the teeth into their prey, as most people say, but it's likely that these cats might have wrestled their prey, which, if you didn't know, is Macrocania and other herbivorous animals, and occasionally their own kind, by the way. They wrestled them, and they used their teeth, which they then stick into the prey's throat so it can suffocate. And pretty much like lions today, they may have lived in prides and hunted together. Let's go feed them. Alright, so like I said, these guys are carnivores and they like their meat. Oh yeah, and you know there's a famous Smilodon named Diego from Ice Age. Do you guys remember watching Ice Age when you were little? Or have you remember watching the Ice Age movies? Let me know in the comments below. Oh man, let's see the animation. Oh yeah, and I can do an impersonation of Diego. Yeah. That was a cool one. Wow. Let's go on that ride again. Run! Oh, I think he caught us. Alright. Thanks, Donkey, for the suspense. Yeah, you're welcome, Queen, anytime. Alright. And to make this tour short, our final animal for today is the extinct quagga. Here we have our quagga here. You can see there's actually 2 quagga. So let's go and see if we can find the second one. And there he is. There he is, our quagga. Alright, let's continue. So these guys are an extinct subspecies of the plain zebra, but we don't have plain zebras in the Biopark Zoo, well, in Zoo Resort that is. We only have the Grevy zebra, but we did use the plain zebra's DNA to clone the quagga back to life. But these guys once lived and roamed in large, vast herds in South Africa's Cape Province and the southern part of the Orange Free State. Their name derives from their call. It sounds like quaha. Quaha, see? And should I say, these guys are the Frankenstein of all equid species, which their head and stripes, you see over here, look like a zebra, but the back of the body of the animal looking like a horse, as if they were stuck together by Dr. Frankenstein himself. Unfortunately, though, they were heavily hunted for their meat, hides, and they competed with domestic animals for forage. With the last wild one probably dying in the late 1870s, and with the last specimen in captivity died on August 12, 1883 at the Natural Artis Magistra Zoo in Amsterdam. Let's go feed them. But fortunately, take great care of these animals. And now, let's see their animation. Alright. Goodbye, quaggas. Well, guys. That was a fun tour, wasn't it? Thank you guys so much for joining this tour. If you like this tour, please make sure to hit like and subscribe for more. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have an animal-tastic day. Later!